Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I normally make beauty videos up in my room, but I'm in a different setting today because I want to talk about a health issue that really affected me for quite a long time, and I was quite poorly with it, and I found it so frustrating because I really felt so weak and ill, but the medical advice I was getting wasn't really helping me. I was trying all these different medications. I even had private healthcare try and investigate what was going on, and I didn't really get anywhere, and I was left pretty much to my own device to fix my own issues. And I was so ill with it, and if anyone else out there is going through a similar thing, I want to be that person that actually gives you something that can actually help you, as opposed to just keep going on round in circles trying to find a solution. So the term for it is GERD, and I will spell out the acronym right now for what that means. But basically it's like acid coming up all the time. So before I tell you what worked for me, I want to tell you my symptoms, just in case that you have something completely different to me, because there's no point you following exactly what I tell you to do if you maybe have an appendicitis or a bowel blockage or even a food allergy or irritable bowel syndrome or any other stomach or intestine, digestive related issue. I want you to be really sure that you have what I had for such a long time. So my symptoms, it was like there was a blowtorch in my stomach. So it's not a regular stomach thing where you might feel a bit nauseous or you feel like you need to go to the bathroom because you've eaten something a bit dodgy. That was not me. My thing was literally there was a blowtorch in my stomach, so every time I ate anything, even something relatively harmless that I could normally eat before I got ill, it was like a cauldron in my stomach. It was bubbling, there was a lot of air coming up. Again, it wasn't like a gassy air, like you've eaten sort of gassy foods. It was like air very much stuck in my throat, so even if I ate a banana, there was a lot of air generated from that. It was constantly stuck in my throat and I was constantly hiccuping. There was a lot of pain, but a lot of heat in my stomach, so that was the main thing. Like my stomach felt really hot, very inflamed all the time, and I really struggled to eat or drink properly. There was one weekend that I finished work on the Friday and I didn't eat anything again till the Monday morning, and I went to an out of hours hospital at this point because they tried me on omeprazole, Gaviscon, all these other tablets. It made me feel much worse, actually, I'll be honest. So I didn't eat or drink anything, and the doctor was so rude to me, and he was like, he first told me off for bringing my medication in a handbag because he thought it was inappropriate to bring a bag to a hospital. I was like, well, how else am I going to transport my medications other than bring it in a bag? I don't understand that. He then followed me out of the consultation afterwards and said,
just so you know, young lady, you're not doing yourself any favours by not eating or drinking. You should be making sure you eat and drink.
And I was like, I can't eat and drink. That's why I'm here, because I feel so ill, because every time I swallow, I get really bad acid reflux. I then had a bit of a traumatic bleed relating to it, because that doctor said, oh, drink lots of peppermint tea for the sort of reflux and the air that was coming up. The effects of drinking peppermint tea, not only is that bad for acid reflux, but the effects of that on my digestive system were so strong that it caused a bit of a bleed. I won't go into too much detail, but it was very traumatic, and I honestly thought I was gonna be, they were told that I had cancer or something really bad, and then I had to go for a bowel scan. And because of all that, and they had to scan me 4 times because they couldn't decide whether they could see an unusual structure that shouldn't be there or not. So I was so horrifically worried. And throughout this, even when I saw private care, I wasn't really given a proper diet plan or any advice what to avoid, not to eat, other than to take probiotics. So those were my symptoms and the frustration that I had. And this is how I got better for any of you out there with acid reflux. So firstly, I think stress is a huge thing. I was working in a very stressful job at the time. If you are under stress, that can affect the digestive system. It can cause acid reflux. For some people it causes other digestive problems, but it can really irritate acid reflux. I was working in a very stressful environment. I had no idea the job that I was walking into at the time was going to be as stressful as it was and as demanding as it was. And working under a manager who's kind of a bit of a narcissist micromanager, and that's probably the most polite way I can describe it. He was not a nice man, and he was very sarcastic and just would put you down in front of other people and humiliate you, and he was just a horrible, horrible man. And he would email me things saying how I was a disappointment before he got into work, and just things which really made me upset because I just started this job and I really wanted to make an impact, and I really cared about the place that it was, and it just all fell apart and it wasn't great. So leaving that job was probably one of the best things I ever did for my health, and it was actually under medical advice that I did that. Because it was just making me ill, as well as exercise such as cardio and walks and things to actually bring the stress down, I really advise putting some lavender oil on at night as well to help you sleep and help you relax. So you can get some from Trader Joe's. This is like a rollable one. In the UK you can get this off Amazon for about £1. This is by Fresh Skin. But lavender oil at night to help you just relax and calm down, because then your body can also start to try and heal itself at night. So removing stress is the #1 thing for acid reflux on my list. There are some really other important points as well. I also picked up this book. It's called The Acid Watcher Diet. I picked it up on Amazon. It was very inexpensive. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy it because I know on YouTube people are always trying to sell you stuff, but this is very good just because it explains about acid reflux and why we get it. The fact that people drink a lot of coffee, they smoke, they drink alcohol. I don't do any of those things, and you should also cut those out if you do them because they can really flare up acid. It also does give you a diet plan. I will say, however, because I'm British, I found the diet plan very Americanized and it wasn't quite foods that we were used to seeing. And having such a food problem as it was, I didn't want to introduce a lot of crazy foods into it. But this book is very useful for giving you pH, because the thing you need to do with acid reflux is eat an alkaline diet, which this book explains brilliantly. That sounds really dramatic, but what it means is basically cutting out, as well as the coffee and everything that I just mentioned, things such as tomato, lemon, anything citrusy, anything particularly acidic, because a problem with acid reflux is that they give you all these tablets to try and reduce the acid, but my theory, and which is what I went with, which what helped cured me, is that actually your stomach has become a little bit off balance and it's actually not acidic enough. So you're eating foods, they're going down into your stomach and your stomach isn't able to process them. So you need to lay off the acidy foods and then basically help heal your stomach. So this book is great for that. But the meal I ate most actually was just plain chicken, gravy, plain mashed potato and greens every night. And I ate that meal for about 6 months. Like literally every night, which sounds crazy, but that's the only thing that was giving me nutrients and not flaring my stomach up. So I do recommend this book. We'll leave it a link below. With acid reflux disease, as I just mentioned, there's a bit of an imbalance going on. Bad bacteria in the gut can multiply and can really throw your system off balance. It can even cause acne, mood swings and other problems as well. So something which was recommended to me, which I really advise to everybody, is to take probiotics every day. You can drink Yakult, but also a tablet version such as the Probio 7. These are about £20 for about a month's supply, which is very expensive. But if you get to the point where I got, where you just feel so incredibly weak, tired, frustrated, you're in pain all the time, you can't eat anything, it's been months and nothing's helped you. I mean, literally they gave me all these different medications to reduce the stomach acid, and you realise it's the opposite type of a problem. These really help, but they will take 2 to 3 months to really see an impact, and I've kept up taking them and I really recommend them. And they're also stomach acid resistant as well, which you want to look out for, so that's why I recommend Probio 7. But also omega-3 fish oil is good, because I had no idea that it helps cancel out omega-6s and 9s. Because if you eat a lot of fried and fatty foods, which you should not do with acid reflux, this helps to just bring the balance back. So as I just said, so no spicy foods, no fried foods, fatty foods, and no acidic foods. You need to do that throughout your whole diet, and you need to do that now, and you need to stick to it. Particularly oily, greasy foods, absolutely no. You just can't have them in the diet. So throughout all of this, if you are looking for some quick relief, one of the best things I can advise is to drink chamomile tea. You can get a chamomile tea bag such as this, where it's just the plain tea bag and it's just a pressed version of the chamomile flowers. That's by Twinings, very inexpensive. Or you can get a loose tea. So this is the chamomile flowers and it's actually the flowers, so you actually steep this. I bought this from Earth Cafe in California. If you live in the UK, Starbucks do a brilliant chamomile tea as well, which is very, very soothing. But again, drink as much chamomile tea and water as possible. Keep everything neutral. This is the best drink, because sometimes they even say to drink ginger for a bad stomach, but ginger has a lot of heat in it. And with acid reflux, you're actually going to add literally pouring like petrol on a fire if you have anything hot. So you want to keep everything cool, as in heat. Not I mean like hot tea, but I mean the heat of the food itself. So if you just pour a bit of cold water, put in a tea bag, fill it with hot water so it's not too hot and it doesn't impair the flavour. Drink as much chamomile tea as possible. I've probably drank about 3,000 cups of chamomile tea in the last year, which sounds crazy, but with acid reflux, this is probably the best thing you can do. Another thing as well, which seems so harmless and it's such a comforting thing, chocolate. Chocolate can actually loosen the l.e.s muscle, which keeps the stomach acid like that. That's the l.e.s muscle. Imagine that in your stomach, which keeps all the acid from flowing back up. Chocolate can actually loosen that muscle, so it can actually help encourage the acid to flow back up. You should also try not to eat too close towards bedtime as well. So definitely no chocolate and no eating too close towards bedtime. I hope these things have been helpful. Just as a recap, no coffee, no smoking, no alcohol, no spicy foods, no rich creamy foods like cream cakes or creamy desserts, nothing fried or nothing oily, lots of chamomile tea, lots of water, simple plain foods like chicken, obviously find a vegan alternative if you're vegan, greens, gravy, mashed potato type meals, really simple, no flavourings and nothing acidic. That's the main thing until your body heals. It probably took a few months to heal, as well as reduce your stress, and now I can eat about 95% of the foods I could eat before. My stomach only gives me grief if I slightly go off my diet. One last tip is don't overeat. Eat small meals, and then as you're getting full, have a rest. If you're still hungry in a bit, have a bit more, but don't overfill your stomach. So those are my tips. If you are struggling with this, please leave me a comment. You can email me if you want to do it privately and you don't want the people to know if you're really struggling, because I want to help people get better. So that was my struggle with acid reflux disease. It was awful. As I said, I had it for the best part of a year, but I'm better now. I feel great. And yeah, I really want to share that with you. So hope this has been helpful. My channel is about beauty, so if you like beauty, maybe you want to subscribe. Yeah, so if there's anything else I can help you with, please leave a comment below. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a great recovery and I wish you all the best. And I'll see you in my next video.